show you a few techniques.
I don't know how to write it without seeing it.
Oh, that's why I'm going to do it with you, my friend. We're doing it together. So here's my paper. The first thing I'm going to start off with drawing is a nice big triangle pointing down. It's a little tricky to draw triangles. So one way to make it easier is I'm going to draw 3 dots like this. And what this does, this allows me to figure out how big I want my triangle to be, and I can connect the dots. So I like where that is. If I don't like where the dots are, I can erase them and move them. Yeah, sure we can. I'm just going to erase this one there, like it over there somewhere, and now I can connect the dots. There we go. And we have finally, there we go. There's our giant triangle to begin with. That'll be her body. So we just connect those dots. The next thing I'm going to look at doing is her face. Her face is going to be kind of like a U shape, but nice and tall, or like a little bit of a bucket, or like an oval with the top cut off. Here. So I'm going to draw a nice, tall U shape there. So it's kind of like a U shape like that. Nice, tall U shape. Before I get too much further, I'm going to draw her face in there, but there's something in the way. What's in the way of being able to draw my face? Yes. That triangle, yeah, exactly. So I'm going to take my eraser now. And I use my eraser. I make sure it's clean. Sometimes my eraser is dirty, so I'm going to take my thumb and rub it on the side there. And just cleans up my eraser if you need to do that. If you're wearing jeans at home, I'll often do that. I'm going to erase inside. I'm also going to erase on either side of what will be her face. And if you erase a bit of her face there, the U shape, that's okay. I'm erasing it.
I don't know how to make Mr.Byrne.
Yes.
Can you get my eraser on my back?
Certainly you can. You don't have one in your... Oh, I see an eraser right on your table there, the pink one, on the other side. Yeah, that'll work. What are you having a hard time? I'm trying to have there's 1, 2, and there's a few dots. So I want you to connect the dots. Yep. And down there. Yeah, and up here. Yeah, that's good enough. It's okay. Even if yours is a little more rounded, if it's a little more straight, it's okay. It's all good. It's all right. At the top here, I'm going to put her hat, because she needs a hat. But I'm not going to have a flat hat. I have a bit of an angle, because she's kind of cool and groovy. So I'm going to draw the witch's brim right there. Because I have a bit of a line that's sticking up. Oops, sorry about that.
I made a wedge there.
You sure did. For her hat, I want to make sure she has lots of big poofy hair. So I'm not going to make her hat small like that where it fits on her head. I'm going to make it a little bit wider. So I think probably from there to there. And again, I like putting my little dots. Almost like a little, I can make my own connect the dot game. From there to there. And by doing this, by giving that space there, I'm going to give a place for her hair to go.
Maybe A.
You sure did. All right. Because it's the space that we want, we put her hair in right now. And I'm going to draw sort of zigzaggy lines because I think she has wild and crazy hair. Now, if you want to have curly hair or some other type of hair, that's okay. Go for it. And over here. There we go. Maybe you have longer hair or shorter hair. It doesn't matter. It's your witch. You can do what you like. Time to draw her face. To be a little bit tricky here, it all depends. If you've got not very much space, you can't put a lot of details in. If you have a lot of space, you can put more details in. So I don't know how big you've drawn yours. So if you can't put everything that I put in, that's okay. Just remember that for next time. So in close here, I'm going to put 2 dots fairly high. This gives her enough room for a big open mouth. And her nose. Just 2 little dots there is fine to begin with.
Yeah, there's some.
Yeah. I can erase it. Yeah, it's good to have a sharp pencil. And I'm going to give her some eyebrows, and the eyebrows are going to point downwards. She's kind of angry. Not super angry. We'll give her a smile. But I know that she's a little mischievous. Play tricks on people. Oh, I don't want to make bad ones. More mischief. For her nose. Usually when we draw girls, we draw a little, almost ski jump style, a little cute nose. But for her, we're going to put almost like a guy nose on there. So it could be a pointy nose. I'm going to have one that's more like a hook, like the far side of a letter N. But you could definitely do yours pointy, certainly. I'm going to draw mine like, sort of like a lowercase n, a far side, or backwards R shape, and a little line going back towards one of the eyes. So it's like
I'm
that.
done.
Oh, you draw your face on it. You haven't done that on yet.
I wanted to make my hair.
For her mouth here, I'm going to draw a smile on just the side of her face, not right in the middle, but just on the side. If you've got the room and you'd like to, some artists will draw a line from the upper lip to her nose.
Can I please be done?
You haven't even drawn the face yet.
I have eyes, mouth.
That's the coat you've drawn. Here, I'm now going to draw a nice big backwards J shape for her mouth.
I already did it.
And an extra little line going down. This one looks like she's sort of cackling and laughing. If you have room, and I don't know if you do or not, but if you do, you can draw a small little square inside her mouth for a single tooth. Some people will even put a little bump on her nose or a little wart, if you'd like. It all depends on how much space you have. If you've drawn a small face, you won't have room. If you don't have room, don't put it on.
Okay.
Down here, I want to put her body. We'll put her arm on. So probably I'd make an imaginary line down by the side of her head, down here. I'm going to start her dress. I'm going to think of a capital L shape that's curved outwards slightly. By having curved lines, it'll make it seem like it's a little more round. A little more.
That's way
So down here.
way too high.
And then here, just a smile shape at the bottom.
Way too high.
Try the best you can. Remember, I've been drawing for longer than you've been alive, so I'll be a little bit better than you. For her hands now, I'm going to put them up. Hands are tricky. I know they are. A lot of people get confused by them. I'm going to start off with her wrists, though, just 2 little lines. And in this hand, we're going to have her holding something. And having a hand holding something can be really tricky to draw. So I'll give you one technique that makes it a little bit easier. We're not going to draw a hand shape. We're going to draw the shape of a teacup. So I'm going to have a line going up here. Here's the side of my teacup. Here's the top of my teacup. The other side. And the bottom part of my teacup. See, it's almost like a little teacup. Or a J shape with an L pointing down. Doesn't really matter how you think of it. For her thumb, I'm going to do a backwards check mark. And for me, that's good enough. In this hand, we can have her holding something. What are some things that our witch could be holding? Yes.
A broom.
She could be holding a rune, absolutely. What else could she be holding? Yes. She could be holding a potion, absolutely. What else might she be holding? Yes.
I'm way too
A wand, absolutely. What else? Yep. A cat, certainly she could be holding a cat. She could be holding almost anything she wants. I'm going to draw a broom, but you can draw whatever you'd like. She's your witch. I'm going to draw a broom here, and I imagine that she did not buy her broom at Walmart. It's probably an old broom, an old wooden broom that's kind of bumpy and lumpy. So I'm going to draw a lumpy and bumpy line. There's the other side. Goes through there. And all the way through, I'm going to imagine a line right through her hand, so they line up like this. Maybe it's like the Nimbus 2000. There's that. There's it. Boom. It's right through her hand. And draw a little circle at the bottom here where all the straw gets held together. Then finally, we have all the bristles. So I'm thinking kind of like an A shape or another triangle. A little zigzag line here for the bottom of the bristles. If you want, you even draw an extra line or two to show that it's bristles. On her other hand, I'm going to draw something a little bit different. I want to have this hand open. It is definitely a little bit tricky. So one thing that animators and illustrators and cartoonists do to make it a little bit easier is we do not draw 4 fingers and a thumb. We only draw 3 fingers and a thumb. We simplify it and makes it a little bit easier.
No, we have.
So I'm going to have here's her one thumb here. And I was thinking long, pointy fingers, long, pointy thumb. Here's one pointy finger. Mine's a little bit crooked. Here's one finger. There's 2 fingers. He's reaching out for something. Maybe magic's coming out. 3 fingers. And her palm. There we go. If there's a different way you want to draw your hand, that's okay too. It can be tricky.
There's you again.
Now for her feet. You have 2 options. One, you could say her dress, her robe or gown has gone all the way down and is covering her feet. You can do that. That's not a bad technique every now and then. All right, we'll put a haunted house and you can put a house in the background. And here, I'm going to put some feet on her. So I'm going to draw 2 little lines for her legs on one side. And I'm going to think of sort of like a V shape that's pointed out to the side. Like that on one side. And I'll do the same over on this side. Pointing that one out as well. And give her little heels there. I think she's wearing heels. Of course, you could turn them into boots if you'd like. I don't care. Or she could wear flip-flops. It doesn't really matter. I have 3 little buttons. And a line going right across here as an extra ribbon. Please don't do that. Right now, my witch, we don't really know where she is. She could be jumping on help. So I'm going to have a line behind her so we can know there's a wall or something in the background. It gives her a place, something to stand on. And I'm going to put it right around here. There we go. Now, she's somewhere. I don't know where she is. Maybe she's inside, outside. I don't know where she is. Oh, one other thing I forgot to do here is we can add some extra little V shapes here, or W shapes, along her cape there. It makes it a little bit more ragged. It makes sure it looks a little older. Boys, don't do that. Keep your hands to yourself, please. Thank you. For other things in the back, I'm going to show you a few other things. You can put them in if you'd like, but you don't have to. We can put in a crescent moon there. There we go. So this is the big C and a little c. I'm also going to put in some bats because I really like bats. Bats are cool and they're easy to draw. And I'm going to draw 3 bats. And they look like they're going to come towards us. They can be. I'll show you. Here's a little technique we can use. We're going to draw a stretched out capital M. There. And in here, I'm going to draw an oval shape for our bat's body. I can color that in if I'd like. And 2 little bat ears. Take your finger out of that, please. Thank you. And along here at the bottom of the wings, 2 other stretched out M shapes. See how we get those M's? I can color those in. Bat fingers, I think they have little claws or little fingers at the top of their wings. Lets them climb around things. That's my first bat. My next bat, though, is I'm going to turn on the other side, the other angle, and a little bit smaller. Right there. Same process, and draw a little oval. Little bat head. I'm just going to put a bat head on that one. It's okay. Little wings. Small little M. Small. And lastly, 1/3 bat, even smaller. And that last one I didn't even press as hard. It's just a little bit lighter. Why would I draw my 3 bats in different sizes? Yes! Absolutely. So that's a technique that a lot of artists use, is when we want to draw stuff that makes it look closer and further away, we'll draw the same thing or same type of thing, but just smaller. And it makes it look like it's further away.